This is Idiots with Opinions. Idiots may vary. Hey everybody, welcome to America's favorite and only podcast, Idiots with Opinions. I'm Todd.
And I'm Tuscan.
And we're about to do things.
We're gonna take you on a journey. We're gonna bring you to the world of weird news. It's all over the internet these days. I mean, you see people out there doing literally the weirdest stuff, right?
Yeah, so we thought the best thing to do would be tell you about these weird things that you're missing out on, that you really don't need to hear, and it won't really enrich your life in any way. But, you know, maybe you'll find it interesting.
Now, I'm going to apologize right off the bat. Todd and I are coming off a late night, and it's an early morning, and we're about to record a podcast. So, you know, we might say something that is incorrect, maybe politically incorrect, maybe just wrong, maybe just altogether wrong.
That's always the case.
Yeah, I mean,
whether we're tired or we're awake, that's always the case.
Well, either way, today's podcast is coming to you extra sleepy from the studios of Todd and Tuscan, and I want to go ahead and wish Todd a happy birthday. It's on the day that this comes out. I mean, today is the day before Todd's birthday. But on the day that this comes out, it will be Todd's birthday. So happy 21st birthday, Todd. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Drink yourself some champagne. Have a good time. It's all about you today.
Thank you so much, Tuscan.
Yeah.
Man, I will shout out. It is my mother's birthday today.
That is that's
So,
right. Your mom's birthday.
Happy birthday to Nance. Shout out to Nance.
Nancy Schlegelmilch. What a lady.
But yeah. Other than my birthday, Tuscan and I are doing this show. If you've never heard of a podcast before, podcasts are where people talk and you listen.
How did you find us?
Podcast, I don't know. Our podcast is about, you know, the things that we said earlier, but I'm gonna have 2 stories that Tuscan's never heard of, and Tuscan's gonna have 2 stories that I've never heard of, and we're gonna tell them to each other, and it's just gonna be like one of us is gonna be finding out the story just like you. Finding out the story for the very first time, unless you scrub the internet for weird news stories already.
Which
In
is
which
like,
case, what are you doing, wasting your time already?
No, they just want a little
this?
bit of analysis. You know, you can find weird news stories by yourself, but how much fun is that? You get
That's
our
true.
commentary and opinions through this medium, and I would venture to say that is the most valuable asset we own.
I think the most valuable asset is friendship.
Well, who told you that? Your mom?
Yeah.
Well, she needs a thing or two to learn about the old friendship. Doesn't
Or
make more.
every Pixar movie ever.
Oh yeah, that's true. Pixar does have a thing with friendship.
They're like,
God,
hey,
what a heartwarming time.
Or you know what? Or Fast and Furious. They're all about family, though.
Dude, I watched
family.
Let's
Family.
in
I know
sticking
exactly
with
what you're
the-
gonna say, and
yeah,
I did
yeah.
that too.
Yeah, you watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
let's not even
sticking
say
with
what we
the
watched,
tradition of mentioning
so
that
that-
guy on the show,
Yeah.
and the video he released in the last week. Todd and I are gonna talk about it. But yeah, that was a great video. I love when we're on the same wavelength and nobody else knows what we're talking about. We are doing a show here, believe it or not. So,
Drew Gooden is not a sponsor.
all right, so we've got a couple stories. Todd, do you think I should start with indignant or depressing?
Start with depressing, and then we'll go up from there.
We'll build to indignant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
if people are listening halfway through and they stop, they're gonna be depressed. So they gotta do it the whole way through.
That's
to really
right.
feel fulfilled.
That's right. We're going to talk about a sad story. It's coming out of New Hampshire today, and in New Hampshire, every once in a while, a whale will wash up on shore. And, you know, it's a sad thing that happens, but whales die, and sometimes those whales are baby whales because the world is cruel and unfeeling. And that's what we have to contend with, you know. We have to.
And
we have
then
to
they
live
get
in that
real
world.
bloated. Have you seen them trying to, like, let the air out of the whales?
Let the air out of the whales? No, I haven't.
Yeah. If like beached whales are just beached for a long time and they get super bloated, they can just blow up, and it could be as dangerous as like a bomb. People have like lost limbs and lives from
Exploding
the
whales?
pressure of air when they're letting out the air from the whales.
That's freaking terrifying.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Whale can just explode on you.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't think it was enough already, like, okay, there's a dead whale, that's kind of scary in and of itself. But knowing that whale is a ticking time bomb that may erupt at any moment makes it all the scarier.
Dead whales are more dangerous than alive whales.
The people of Rye, New Hampshire, found a 4,000-pound baby whale beached in their town, and the whale presented itself a huge problem to the city of Rye because they had absolutely no way to dispose of this whale. And the thing that's depressing about this video is not that the whale is dead, not that it's beached, and not that the city had nothing to do with it. It's watching this whale fall off a transport carrier into a dumpster and then like roll to the ground. It's like it's the most like you just see a whale out of water and it's the most ragdoll thing. It's super depressing. I wish I didn't have to watch it, but I did watch it, and I don't know if I'll be the same again, man. I feel
to
for
be
this
honest,
whale.
I'm not the one watching the video, but I feel like this is not the saddest story that we've covered on this
It's
podcast.
not, but it makes me sad. You know,
You really buttered that one up, and I was expecting
I think it's
another
depressing.
lady who barbecued her husband. But
listen, you're not going to get one of those too often. She's a special kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
no, all it is just like the really sad image of like of a whale like flopping around on the sidewalk, which you know you think would look kind of funny, but it just looks sad. You know, it's got these workers that don't know what they're doing, and the whale is whale sized, and yeah, it's no good.
well, it's a baby whale.
It is a baby whale.
You know what kind of whale it is? What kind of whale is it?
What kind of whale? Minke. Mink?
What?
M-I-N-K-E. Mink? Is that right?
Isn't that like a type of ferret?
I don't know.
Who's
I don't
to
know.
say?
It's a mink whale. That's what this article says. It's NBC from New York. So, Lord
It'd
alone
be better
knows.
if it was a pink whale. Am I right? Bwah, 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 bwah.
But yeah, I mean, I never really thought about that before. Like, what do you do with a whale? What's the ideal situation when you find a whale? I mean, this is a small one, but you find a full-size whale on your beach. What do you do? I mean, you got to drain it, right? All the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what? Where do you put it? What happens to a dead whale? Do you just allow it to decompose and be eaten?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you would do?
You can bury it.
You could bury it.
What if you bury
That'd
it?
be a big hole.
Would be a big hole.
And the ocean's right there. I mean, wouldn't you just dump it in the ocean?
We dump enough of stuff in the ocean.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not dumping it in the ocean if it was born, lived, and died in and of the ocean, right? I mean, that's not human waste. That's just
Yeah.
it's
true.
whale-related waste.
Yeah. I'm sure the ocean is able to sustain some whale waste, some dead whale waste.
Dead whale waste.
I mean, the ocean pushed it off on the land.
That
They're
is
like, I don't
true.
want to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it on the land. Let's put it on a beach. Done with this.
Whales are majestic creatures. I wish I knew more. Have you ever seen a whale in person, Todd?
No.
I saw the back of a couple whales one time when I was in Mexico. We were doing some scuba diving, and they were swimming out alongside our boat. It was like mating season for the humpbacks in the south of Mexico, and it was a good time. You know, they were just going along, blowing their holes. You know, happy as they could be.
Mating
whales
season
are
for the
fun.
whales.
Yep.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Mating season for the whales. Fun time.
Mm-hmm. It's always a good time. Make sure you get yourself on that whale train. Go spot a whale. Go see some whales. But don't pay somebody an exorbitant amount of money to go whale watching. Like, just find out where the whales are and go check them out, you know? Get yourself a boat.
And it's always when you're trying to watch a whale, when you're looking for a whale that you never see it.
The best whales are the
not accept
serendipitous whales. The ones that just pop up out of nowhere and you're like, oh my God, it's a whale. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that was a magical experience. I think we fell in love, me and that whale, right there in that moment, you know?
That's a true mating season for whales, if I've ever heard one.
True mating season
I mean,
for whales.
if I was a whale, I'd fall in love with you, Tuscan.
I don't doubt it, Todd.
So, but you know, that story does get me down. That's a down story from New Hampshire.
It's a
you know
Debbie Downer.
Yeah, you know what's up
Lift
from
me
New
back
Hampshire?
up. I don't know what else is from New Hampshire.
Up
Up
from New Hampshire, not
Canada.
down. Maine.
Maine. That's like northeast.
It's still up. North is up.
North is up. You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first from Todd Schlagmuck. North is up. So there's a story about a restaurant. So this restaurant is serving lobster, crab, seafood, crustaceans, the sort. And the owner is feeling like, man, I don't like just watching these crabs, these crustaceans die in pain, getting eaten. And so to combat that, they have figured out a way to get these crustaceans high on marijuana.
Okay.
By putting them in a tank outside, pumping their water full of marijuana smoke, and then waiting a little bit, and then grilling them up, and or whatever you do, steaming them, and then serving them to the people.
I think you boil it.
I think they also,
crab, don't you?
well, they also have to do a special thing to get the marijuana out of the.
Now, why would you want to do that?
Because
that would be like the best
I mean,
part of enjoying a crab. You would like have a crab, get a little high.
Yeah, well, they also were like, we're not selling edibles.
Interesting.
Edible crabs.
That would be something else. You know, have an edible crab.
Crabs that also get you high.
Crabs that get you high. I feel like that sounds like a disease. I mean, crabs is a disease. It's more of a parasite.
Come on down to
than a
Joe's
disease.
Crab Shack. Crabs that get you high.
Crabs that get you high.
Not a sponsor. Crabs that get you high are not a sponsor on Idiots with Opinions.
But Joe's Crab Shack is also not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Yeah.
So why are
Well,
they
I
getting
just
the
think
crabs high?
Because it's more ethical to kill the crabs when they're high rather than when they're completely sober.
So you want
So
to
it doesn't-
kill like a drugged out happy crab rather than a sober crab that's there to feel every bit of boiling water or steam or whatever you subject a crab to when in the last moments of its life.
Yeah. Yeah. And they also have the option of like just having it normal. I think you have to specifically ask to get your crab high before you eat it for them to do this process.
Okay.
And it's just starting out, so it's not like they've been doing this for a while.
I haven't been following. Is recreational marijuana legal in Maine, or are they doing this like under the rug in the back room? You know.
Well, I don't think it's under the rug, but there's a lot of states now that have medicinal marijuana, so I don't know. I guess maybe that goes under the category of medicinal because it's like, hey, you know, it's gonna help with death.
You know what's
Getting high.
You know what's gonna help this crab feel better about us? Literally steaming it alive and then eating it.
And then eating it. Getting it really high.
Yeah, I mean that would make you feel better about about death. If there's one thing I want to be when I die, it's on way too many opioids to realize I'm dying.
Yep.
Which is kind of the reality for most people that die in hospitals, I would think. You know? You just they pump you full of a bunch of drugs and then you just fade off into the night.
Yeah, but you're feeling good.
It would be a peaceful way to go, you know. I would also rather go like buck naked riding on the wing of an airplane.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then
We've talked about this
Have we?
in person, but no, not the buck
okay.
naked on
It's
an
like,
airplane.
I feel like I
but
would remember that.
But I think we've talked about. I want a Viking funeral, and I want you to shoot the arrow into my canoe.
We have talked about this, and
Do you want anything specific?
Do I want anything specific? Nah.
Yeah.
I want to be cremated. You know.
And then what?
I don't know.
I saw this clickhole video. So
somewhere.
it was a total parody, but it was a clickhole video parodying a funeral for a school janitor, and they had like the ashes of the school janitor, and they had this whole funeral proceeding. And then at the very end, they poured the ashes on like this vomit on the floor, and then they cleaned it up. They're like, he'll always be remembered for cleaning up all of our messes.
Jesus Christ.
It was really messed up.
What a guy.
Recreational marijuana is legal in the state of Maine.
That's what I thought. I was kind of leaning that way. I think it's...
Well, it says sort of.
Sort of.
They have like specific weird rules to it.
Do you know those rules,
And
or does
they don't have any shops that are open, like retail shops that are open, that can open for business, but they're thinking that can happen in like the spring of 2019, and yeah, let's see.
So they don't have shops, but you can recreationally use marijuana, or has that not gone into effect yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, like they said in 2019, they'll have the first retail shops could probably open for business in the spring of 2019.
Okay. So they're preparing the legislation.
It almost sounds like it's illegal to sell it, but it's legal to consume it.
It's legal to buy it. It's legal to carry it.
But it's not
if you're
legal
the
to sell it.
proprietor of the establishment, it's legal to sell it.
That's funny.
You remember that from the first scene of Pulp Fiction?
No.
Where Sam
I haven't
Jackson,
seen Pulp Fiction in a long time.
Oh, it's an iconic deal. You know, it opens on Sam Jackson and help me out.
They're talking about burgers.
No, they're not talking about burgers at first. They're talking about
foot massages.
That's later. They're talking about Vincent's trip to Holland, where they had hash bars. They were talking about the legal marijuana in Holland. It's like literally, I think the first line of the movie is like, "Tell me again about the hash bars." He's like, "All right, so get this." He goes through all about Holland. It's a great way to open the movie. It's one of those things. I mean, the first scene is definitely the diner scene, but like once you get into like the rest of the movie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm glad you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Well, Todd,
do you want to summarize Pulp Fiction more?
Yes, I would love to just run you through line by line the entire movie. I bet I could quote 90% of it because that's who I am. Let me tell you about who the Venetians are, Todd. We're gonna hop in a plane, skip on over to Venice Airport, get off that plane, get ourselves into a little what do you call those? Gondola. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gondola, big boat.
Yeah.
Small boat.
And have an Italian man in a striped shirt sing to us as we go through this next story. So, the city of Venice. So, Venice has long been one of the most expensive places you can visit in the world. And it's also one of the most popular tourism spots in the world. So, they have, its population is made up mostly from tourists, right? And Venice actually has a tourism problem because so many people want to go to Venice. It's literally sinking into the Mediterranean Sea year by year because the weight of people on those little islands is too much.
That's insane.
Oh yeah, no, the city of Venice is literally in crisis.
It's sinking because of how many people go there?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah,
What?
there are so many people in Venice, it is sinking into the ocean. Very slowly.
Wow.
But one day Venice will be underwater. But now in Venice, because there are so many freaking tourists, you can't even move your elbows on the streets. They are imposing a €500 fine, which for you Americans out there is $585 roughly in today's exchange rate, for anybody that decides to sit down in an undesignated seating area. So like if you decide to sit down on the Rialto Bridge and and a Venetian police officer, probably wearing a stripy shirt and looking no more menacing than like a cartoon character. He can come up to you and give you a good old citation and make you pay for sitting down, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, listen, if you can't do the most simple thing in the world, which is just sit down, without the police coming over and prodding you with a baton to get out of the way, I don't know what you can do. And I don't blame them. I mean, they've got a ridiculous city. I've never been myself, but from what I've heard from people who have visited there before, it's just awash with tourists. I mean, people are everywhere. You know, they got these big old cameras, and they If
I want to sit down in Venice, wherever I want, no one's going to say that I can't.
That's right. Just like the noodling guy.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't.
That's ridiculous. I can't believe that, but I feel like there's a better way to address this tourism problem.
Yeah, I would let fewer people come to my city.
Yeah.
Were I a Venetian. But, you know, I mean, that is...
And that would make it even more... Or maybe, why don't you just, like, pipe up the prices or something? I don't know.
Apparently, earlier this month also, I just found this in the same article, Venice is not the only Italian city putting these sorts of regulations in place. Apparently, Florence, earlier this month, passed a law that banned eating in the street. So, if you are caught eating in the streets of Florence...
What?
Yeah, in a place where you're not supposed to be eating, they can fine you another €500.
That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. It's
like public intoxication, but it's just being full.
Right.
You're like, sir, are you full? Here's
Yeah.
you have to pay me $500.
Well, we got like open container laws in the United States, right? You can't walk around with a beer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just open, which is fair, unless you're in New Orleans. New Orleans, there are no laws, from what I
There's
hear.
no laws at all.
No laws in New Orleans.
It's just anarchy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kill a man in New Orleans, no one will tell. I won't tell anybody.
And snitches get stitches.
That's right. I mean, you've already pegged yourself as a murderer, so like, who's gonna tell on you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That Mardi Gras girl, she doesn't have a care in the world. She's not even gonna remember this tomorrow morning.
She's murdered like five people that night.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Go to New Orleans, get murdered. That's the moral of the story.
For anybody
You
listening
either murder-
in New Orleans, hi, invite me to your city, and let me stay in your place, because I would love to hang out with you and walk around town with an open container of alcohol. You know, did you ever hear that Hannibal Buress bit about him?
No.
Oh man, so apparently you can, in New Orleans, you can hire yourself a parade. So like you can have like your own private parade whenever you want, right? And so Hannibal Buress, according to his stand-up bit, so this may or may not be true, apparently like hired himself a band and like had this marching band following him around. So he'd like pop into a bar, get a drink, and then take it out, because you can do that, and then just go walking around Bourbon Street with this marching band that just followed him around everywhere. And apparently it's not tough to obtain a permit. Not tough to, not super expensive to rent the band, and you just take them around all night, which I feel would be right up my alley, right?
It's probably expensive.
Yeah, but how expensive could it be? You know, it's just one marching band.
Yeah, but how long is this? How long is this like parade last?
The procession?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Probably just a couple hours, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, okay.
max.
So say it's 2 hours,
Yeah.
and you got a full marching band,
Yeah.
and all of them want to be paid at least minimum wage.
Yeah.
That adds up.
Yeah, you probably rent them for about $200 an hour, you know.
More than that.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, you get like a 10-person marching band. You give them all $20 an hour for 2 hours. I think that's a pretty good deal.
All right.
I mean, I could be
Well-
wrong. My prices could be way off. I don't know what... I've never... Like I said, I've never been to Nolans. So I don't know what it's like down there.
Nolans.
Nolans.
New Orleans is not a sponsor. But you know what is a sponsor?
What's that, Todd?
Coca Cola.
Really? The massive conglomerate that is Coca Cola decided that literally the most recognizable brand in the world decided to give us a sponsorship. I'm glad. You know, if there's one thing I would advertise for free, it is Coca Cola.
Oh, I think I read our benefactors list wrong. It's actually Mastachola, which is a Mastacholi company. That is going out of business.
I don't know who that is.
Never mind. But just let's pretend that Coca-Cola is our sponsor for right now.
All right.
I know it's one of your favorite things.
Absolutely.
Tuscan has a vast collection of Coca-Cola bottles, and he keeps them in his room late at night, snuggles up next to them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the Coca-Cola company, if you've heard of it, I have.
I should hope so.
They are considering. They've been talking with the Canadian marijuana producer Aurora Cannabis.
I heard about this.
And they are thinking about having some Coca-Cola that has like a non-psychoactive ingredient of cannabis plants that alleviates pain. This non-psychoactive ingredient is called cannabidiol, cannabidiol, whatever.
Yeah. So they're
or CBD.
CBD. So there are two chemicals in marijuana that make you feel effects,
THC and CBD.
Right. So CBD is like the muscle relaxant sort of thing, the painkiller, and THC is the one that gives you the psychoactive, you know, like, whoa, I'm seeing demons, you know, like that sort of thing.
Yeah. It always makes marijuana makes you see demons.
That's right. Don't do drugs, kids.
That's why it's called the devil's lettuce.
Yep. It summons Satan right before your very eyes.
It summons Satan. One puff, you get a demon. 2 puffs, you get literally the devil himself. I don't know. It'd help with like arthritis, depression, anxiety, reduce stress. It would boost appetite for people that don't have a big appetite, and it would be beneficial for promoting sleep. It would also help with diabetes, and it has shown effects of helping with mental illnesses that because it suppresses irregular brain function.
I would actually be interested to see what Coca-Cola's stock price would do if they got involved in that, because that's that's an emerging business. I mean, especially in Canada, who I believe on October 1st, recreational marijuana becomes legal all across Canada, right?
It's very soon.
It's I'm pretty sure it's next month. I could be wrong.
And
but
so
we're right on the verge of that, and you know, more and more American states are legalizing it within their own borders, which is interesting because there's a federal law that says it's illegal. It's actually a Schedule I drug, which means it is among marijuana.
Is it
and
still
heroin
like on the same level as heroin?
are the only 2 Schedule I drugs in the United States.
What?
Everything else is a Schedule II. I would not make this up. And so the federal government says it's illegal, but like 10 states are like, yeah, but you know, come over here and you can puff it up, which is interesting, right? It's interesting how our legal system works, where the states can be like, yeah, but we don't really want to listen to that law. You know, you don't really have the power to tell us what we can and cannot do. We're just going to go ahead and do this. But it's a large emerging business in many parts of the United States and in Canada. So, you know, if you're smart as a business, you might start getting involved in this. You know, it's a good time to hit it from the ground, and as it grows, you know, your market grows with it.
You see, I don't know. I think there's still a lot of people that are very against it. Like
there are.
I know. It might not be linked, but did you see the Elon Musk thing? Elon Musk took a hit of something that I don't know if he knew. I don't think he knew that it had.
No, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast and he was smoking a blunt with him.
I thought it was like a cigarette, and then anyway,
whatever.
No. It had like marijuana in it.
Yeah.
And Tesla's stock like just dropped dramatically during that time.
Well, listen, there are a
which
number
it
of
might not
reasons
be
that stocks. I'm pretty sure Tesla's stock is down like 25% on the month, which is real bad.
Yeah.
And there are a number of reasons for that. First of all, Elon's been acting like a moron for the past like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, you see him in the news every 2 or 3 days, and it's like, what's Elon up to? Oh, some dumb stuff. Well, okay. This is the guy running like some of the most important businesses in the world right now. You know, he's got this giant electric car conglomerate. He's got this. This guy's sending people to space. Did you hear about the space tourist thing?
I heard. I don't know too much about it.
The world's first space tourist has been announced. The guy who is going to go around the moon on one of Elon Musk's rockets in, I believe, 2022, or maybe 2023. And that's in Musk time, so that means, you know, it could be literally whenever. But he's like, we'll have it done by 2022, and everybody, all the engineers at SpaceX are like, we'll have it done by when? Are you crazy? we haven't built that rocket yet.
That's another thing. I think I heard one time Elon does have these insane deadlines for people.
Oh yeah.
That are just impossible, and then they usually come pretty close to it.
Yeah,
because
they
are held to that standard. Yeah, and it really pushes them to get a lot done.
Well, you know who holds us to a high standard and pushes us to get a lot done?
Who does?
That's Karl Westberg, Todd. And he is the proud sponsor, the only sponsor that I'm allowing into my house. Karl H. Westberg, just an inspiration of a man.
You know, speaking of rockets, there was one time where he made me get into a rocket because he wanted me to orbit the Earth and come around. He had no experience in making rockets, so the rocket actually didn't make it more than 30 feet off the ground before it came back, and I did break my arm, but he was right there, helped me fix my arm, and
my name was
wrapped around with duct tape. So
my name was Alan B. Shepard.
Yep,
the first American in space.
Yeah,
but what a guy, you know. He's got that engineering acumen. I mean, he's the one person I would trust to build a rocket from scratch, just with his bare hands. And propel me into orbit, because he's crazy like that.
I did trust him. I still do. Today's
show's been brought to you by Karl Westberg, and if you want to know anything more about the stories we covered today, the internet's a wonderful place. Check it out for yourself. Just Google it. That's what we did. And if you want to send us any stories, talk to us, just say hi. Shoot us an email at studiosvolatile@gmail.com. Or you can find us on the social meds. And I forget what our Twitter handle is. What is it? Idiotic Opinions?
No, Opinions That Suck with a K.
That's right. S-U-K suck.
Opinions That Suck.
And then our Instagram is Idiotic Opinions, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what it is. So check us out on them social meds. Give us a like. Give us a follow. We'll be happy to DM you back, and really, just talk about your life. That's all we want.
Yeah, slide into those DMs, and it'll be good for you.
All right. Well, until next time, I've been Tuscan,
and
you've been listening to Idiots with Opinions.